Hey there, I just want to say yoga can be for everyone. However, it is your responsibility to determine if you are ready and able to perform this workout video. If you or a family member have a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or are obese with any physical or medical condition that could be aggravated by a physical activity, please consult a physician before proceeding. If you are pregnant, also consider consulting a physician. If you have any history of injury such as neck, back, shoulder, or knee, please proceed with caution and stop immediately if you feel any pain, lightheadedness, or nausea. The user assumes all risks. Thanks, and I'll see you on the mat. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Connection Yoga, and to come back to learn. Today we are breaking down another pose, breaking down how to safely position your body to be able to drink in the rich benefits, but also stay safe, stabilized, centered. Key goals there. The pose that we will be breaking down today, as you know, is extended side angle. It is a super expressive, gorgeous pose. I love to do it. And so we're gonna do it today. It's a commonly used pose, but it can be commonly done a little bit unsafely. So we're gonna go through all that. First, I'm gonna demonstrate, but even before I do that, I must warn that this pose requires major muscle groups to be at least warm before you should try and put them in the amount of effort that this pose requires. So I suggest just doing like a few sun A's, maybe some B's here, getting your body warmed up. And so what you can do is find one of my 20-minute videos, or you can just hit pause here, come top of your mat, exhale, forward fold, step back, high plank, do a few chaturangas, maybe lower to the mat, do some cobras, any of that. But also make sure to do a little bit of side stretching, because extended side angle is a laterally extensive pose. So this is our lateral body. If you were curious, this is our front and this is our back. So in this pose, we are laterally testing and extending, okay? So first, I'm gonna demonstrate now. I just practiced, so I'm feeling warm, I'm ready to go. And essentially, this is a very general version, awesome version of extended side angle right here. So, as you can see, the legs are very similar to Warrior 2. They're the exact same, actually. So, if you want to go back and watch Warrior 2 and then come back, that's really cool. I'm going to break it down right now as well. So starting with the feet, front foot at 12 o'clock, back foot parallel to the back of the mat, 90 degrees to the front foot. So that heel should be in line with the mid bit of the foot. But of course, if you want a little wider base stabilized, you can bring that back foot a little bit forward and create a little bit of a wider base for your feet. But otherwise, that should be in line. Next, back leg is extending. So our knee is extending, our leg is extending, our hip is extending. Front one, we are in flexion, which means we are bending. So this is bent, this is bent. These are in flexion. So you're going to press out of your feet to engage in both of those actions. Press the back foot, the inner ankle down to extend both the back side, but also the inner side of your leg up and in. Front leg bent. Press that heel to engage, lift up in the back here, in the back of the leg, because we want this under part of our thigh to lift up and in to help support us here, so we're not just dumping down, okay? This should be lifting up and in, and that can help keep that front knee tracking in line of the toe. So in this pose, you should be able to see your big toe. If you can't, start to press that knee open a little bit. if you find it's beyond, you need to bring it back in. So keep it in line with the foot, in line with the big toe. Lifting that inner thigh can help do that. So as in warrior two, hips are open in extended side angle, okay? And it takes some effort. I mean, everyone's length of hip muscles, leg muscles are all kinds of different combinations. So you might have to adjust your stance here based on both your shortness, but also your endurance and strength. So the wider the stance, obviously a little bit more engagement is going to occur. This does not mean that this is not great. This is so powerful. You can equally engage your feet in pressing and bending and opening those front hips, but you don't need a stance that is literally like you're doing the splits. This is cool too, but it doesn't have to be what everyone looks like. Everyone's different. So come into the leg stance that serves you best. So now I'm going to switch sides, start to engage this leg while I talk about some more about our hips. So hips opening. Our tailbone is slightly tucked under to help create that lifting motion out of our core and out of our pubic bone here. So we want that up and in. It's a subtle little whoop, up and in. Draw your belly in so that you can lift up out of the spine. Just like in warrior two, how we extend, the only difference is we are extending that way instead. So it's a side angle instead of up. All right, so draw that tailbone under. And the first expression of this is elbow to knee, okay? You use that support to use your arm to try and support the weight of your upper torso, because now you're leaning over, the weight of your upper torso is on this front leg. And so we are adding to the amount of work that this leg has to do, the amount of flexion this hip has to take. And that can take time to eventually get deeper and deeper into what some people think is the perfect image of this pose, but is not. This is a perfect image of this pose. Now, you don't want to dump into that shoulder, pressing down on that knee. You want it to be there to support yourself, elbow stacked under shoulder, and then your chest opens, okay? So this is just the first expression of the top of body. This is where most of the modifications, the spicy, de-spicy level is going to come in, okay? So start here. Hand on your hip. Make sure that the hip is opening and the right one is coming under. So you might have to do a little bit of not only with this right thigh lifting up, well, whatever leg this is, but the underside hip needs to pull under a little bit too. So if you find you're trying to go deeper, but your hips are not opening, then there's no point. You're not getting into what this pose is supposed to be doing for you. It's supposed to open the front body and extend the side bodies, not extend the hips, whatever muscles that being over here and lower is going to do, okay? We want to stay working as effectively as we can, all right? So next option, besides hand on hip, is reaching your hand to the sky, stacking those shoulders and reaching those fingers. Next option, arm overhead, creating a length from the fingertips all the way to the toes. Press that back foot, lengthen your side body there. And again, make sure to notice if you're pulling your shoulder over and maybe pulling your hips around, okay? You want it to be stacked over. And regarding your gaze here, as we move through these arms, if gaze forward to start with, and then maybe add the rotation up, gently doing so and making sure it does not bother you, though it can help with that lifting, that opening sensation. Again, you can still do this gaze forward. Okay, cool. So next, the extra spicy levels of extended side angle. These are half or full binds. So I will admit, full binds, I can only do some days, and it has taken me quite a while to get here. So don't be discouraged. It takes a lot of flexibility. It takes length of sheer arms and so on and so forth. So just maybe explore them and then never explore them again if you want, or keep exploring them. So first, half bind. You can do this with your elbow at your knee. You don't have to be advanced to do this. You bring your top hand to your low back. I'm gonna turn around so you can see. Okay, so right hand to your low back. Adding to that sort of intrinsic pressure tension to where you press your hand on your low back and you feel that flatness of your hips as your top shoulder opens. All right, half bind, always an option. Next is full bind. So this one is a next level up. Again, warm up your body, your shoulders before trying to do this. All right, so full bind, you bring your bottom arm under your leg, reaching your hand up towards your low back. Right hand at the half bind position already reaches to grab these fingers. You lock them in whatever way you can, and then you start to spiral up, sliding your hands a little bit over, maybe opening that top shoulder. Okay? So, that is a full bind. Voila. It takes effort, it takes a lot, so don't worry at all if you couldn't get there, if you couldn't reach your fingers. Just know that that is something for you out there to maybe work towards, to have a checkpoint for yourself where you occasionally explore it and maybe your fingers are a little closer, you can hold them for a little bit longer. So yeah, as you can see, this is a physically intensive pose. My heart rate is up, my breath is active, and that is the most important thing, engaging how deep into this pose you can go. So breathing. As in all poses, it is a balance of effort and ease, especially when you are literally constricting some of your breathing space potentially. As you lean over and flexion over that front leg, you are decreasing the amount of diaphragm space that can come up and that underside rib cage. So one thing that you really need to focus on and stay in tune with throughout this pose is, can I breathe? With straight long spine out of your hips, you should be able to breathe here. While your legs are fired, they're saying, send me breath with nutrients and blood. You know, you gotta keep breathing. So, and you can if you have this length in your body. So as you descend, you might lose that, trying to just go deeper, trying to get down here to where all the most impressive yogis on Instagram get down to. No, it's not about that. It's about the length in the side body, extending these muscles, and being able to breathe. So again, extra spicy level here is bring your arms up, open your shoulders. And so yeah, stay in tune with your breath. That'll help gauge how deep that you should be going, and so on and so forth. I know I've kind of rambled through this video, but there's a lot to this pose that is subtle, that is powerful, that I just wanted to share with you so that your bodies can stay safe and go deeper, as DJ Hansel says. So that's it. Extended side angle. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, put them below in the comment section. I will happily respond. Otherwise, if you liked this pose breakdown, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you next time for our next pose breakdown or for another flow on your mat. So until then, namaste.